Hello and welcome back to the Villa View. Today we're going to discuss something potentially a bit sensitive because we're not really sure of the exact ins and outs of what's going on with Ross McCormack, but we thought it would be wrong not to cover it because it was quite a big story coming out of Steve Bruce's post-match press conference against Preston. So Matt, obviously Steve Bruce has gone to town a bit on Ross McCormack after the game. Do you think the issues are genuinely serious, or do you think he was trying to paper over the fact that Villa had blown a 2-goal lead?
I don't think that Bruce would shove a player under the bus, so to speak, unless it was a serious issue. In 20 years of management, I don't think Bruce has ever done anything like this, where he's come out and publicly criticised a player like this. I don't think he'd do it. We've seen in the case of Gary Bongnor the amount of support he's given him. To throw something like Ross McCormack out there like that and saying that he's had to go in his house and he's used the excuse of being stuck inside because his gates are locked it shows that this is a serious matter, and that it's obviously multiple times that he's missed training, and it's not the one odd occasion. And there's been photos that have surfaced as well that he was down in London on Friday afternoon as well. Obviously not where he should be, or so you'd assume, but Bodymore Heath. So I think that Bruce has done the right thing in coming out like this. Or I do think that it could be that fact that perhaps there's something not right with him here, and Bruce has wrongfully perhaps come out and said something, I don't know, but then would Bruce even consider coming out with something if there was something wrong? Or is this just the case of a player that's got a stinking attitude? Because this is obviously the most money he's probably ever been on in his career. He probably thinks he's Billy Big after a £12 million move. How do you see it?
I don't know, it's difficult, like you say, Bruce. I find it difficult to believe that Bruce would come out and say all that stuff if there was something mentally or emotionally wrong with McCormack. I mean, I think the London thing, I've heard stuff, I don't know how true it is, that he spends so much time in London because his kid is still in the Fulham Academy.
Yeah, I've heard the facts that apparently he's in the Fulham Academy. Apparently there's photos of him at the Fulham Academy as well on Friday.
I mean, I can't remember other than when he was injured a spell where he hasn't been in the 18. So you'd think if he was regularly missing training, he would have been missing from the 18 more, dropped before, and this been mentioned before by Bruce. The only other thing I could think of was that spell when he was out the side with injury, was it anything to do with what Bruce has mentioned post Preston? Could it be that he's missed training a lot and that was the reason why he was dropped before?
And he has obviously lost his patience with him, which is something Bruce doesn't tend to do, as I've touched on in the case of Gary Bongnor. He's given him so much time to try and put his demons to bed and prove himself that I can't see him putting McCormack out to dry like this unless it's that serious.
So I think that Bruce is obviously a massive Gabby fan, but Gabby's clearly done nothing wrong since Bruce has come in, so I can kind of understand his support for him. You could see in Preston when the fans were singing Gabby's name, he was kind of cheerleading, encouraging more fans to join in support of Gabby. Ross clearly it's not gone well at Villa for whatever reason, but like I say, I don't want to criticise him too much because we don't know exactly what's going on, and footballers sometimes do suffer in silence with certain issues, so it could be that he actually genuinely has some personal issues. It's a real difficult one for us to discuss.
It is, and I think that we have to be careful, as you say, because we don't know the full extent of the situation here. There's the report from Neil Moxey that suggests that this has been a multiple ongoing thing, and Bruce had the final straw the other day when he went around his house and jumped over the gate. Apparently it's only 4'5" in height or something, and that suggests a poor attitude, perhaps, but we don't quite know. And you look at him as a player, Ross McCormack, and I've defended him for his build because he is quite a stocky guy, but in reality we don't know if he could well be quite unfit because he has been missing so many training sessions and he is spending too much time in London or whatever instead of at the training ground.
Well, the fitness thing, that's a problem. I've been the one who's saying he needs a run of games to get himself fit, and he hasn't had that consecutive run of 4 or 5 starts to get himself in the groove. The worrying thing for me is that we've took a player who's taken the Championship by storm for a few seasons now, and he has not taken that league by storm at Aston Villa. So there's fundamentally something wrong somewhere. It's just a case of where the problem lies. I mean, it could be somewhere in the middle of what we're saying. Maybe his attitude has been bad, but maybe he is having problems that he's struggling to deal with, and that's the reason for his attitude being bad. We just don't know, but it's something that we need to sort urgently. And if he's got problems, then the club need to support him, and he needs to be left alone to get himself right and hopefully get back into the Villa team scoring goals, because there's undoubtedly a good player there.
100%. I think that as a player, he is still one of the best in the league on his day, and you don't just lose ability like that. Like, it just doesn't happen like that. And there's something fundamentally wrong, as you say, that I'm sure can be resolved, whether that's by him going out on loan, as it's been suggested. There's been reports from BBCW and Mark Regan that he could be going on a short-term loan deal away from Villa Park, and that could happen shortly. Or what benefits him is the other question. Like, is it we give him some space, or do we make him try on his own? Depending on the situation, obviously, or do we send him out on loan?
Sending him out on loan, for me,
it's not beneficial to me personally.
It's not beneficial to Aston Villa, because the likelihood is we'll be paying a bulk of his wages, because he's on big wages, and Fulham won't be able to take them on. We're getting no fee to be invested elsewhere in getting another striker in. I just think the club have got to do right by Ross McCormack, but if it's Ross McCormack's fault, he's got to start doing right by Aston Villa as well, because we're the ones that are paying him and he's representing the club. I just want him to get right whatever's going on and do well for Villa.
But who knows? And as you say, we are only speculating here, so it's only a matter of time, I'd imagine, before we find out the full picture of what's actually going on there.
I think it's probably best we leave it there without knowing the full facts and the truth about what's going on. We were asked to do this video, so we thought it was only right that we discussed it, because it is a big talking point. We tried to be respectful to the club and respectful to Ross McCormack as well, and not speculate too much, but obviously it is something that needs talking about. If you did enjoy this video, then please give it a like if you can. Comment below on what your thoughts are on the situation, and I'd probably advise not to be too harsh on McCormack, because as I say, we don't know the full story. If you could subscribe to the Villa View, that would be great. Subscribers are going really well at the moment, and we'd like to keep that going. We thank you for your support, and up the Villa.
If you enjoyed that video, why not watch another one? Click the video choices on screen now to go and watch them in full. And don't forget to subscribe. Click on our logo there on the left and press subscribe. Easy.